Hello and welcome to Unlock Your Vitality with Magali on a Journey. I'm your host, Magali Matthew. Here we cover all things vitality, that is living full of energy. From gut health to spirituality, nutrition to movement, we peel back the layers and unlock ways to heal and feel our best selves, one conscious habit at a time. Stick around, let's dive on in. I'm so excited you're here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the show. This week, I have a super special guest. We've got Larissa Mundwiler, who's the owner and founder of Rooted in Wellness. As a holistic esthetician focusing on gua-sha and facial massage, she leaves her clients feeling renewed from the inside out. She's also certified in Reiki, yoga, sound bowl healing, and meditation. Holistic wellness is embedded in who she is, and I can't wait for us to dive into this chat. Larissa, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Me too. This is, such a beautiful re-encountering, and yeah, I can't wait for us to have this conversation. We've actually known each other for a really long time. We went to first middle school together. And that's back
in our uniforms and all.
Yeah. Oh my God. Uniforms. You were totally the girl who taught me how to make a uniform cool.
Because I was like, okay, let's roll our skirts and paint our nails and we'll be cool.
I'm pretty sure you're the first person that taught me makeup and all of these things. I was a very traditional French girl coming into this American Catholic school, which who knows why my parents thought that was a good idea. Oh my goodness. It was so fun. But yeah,
it was.
It's been a while, but it's so good to connect. And I'm so excited to talk about all the things that you've accomplished since then.
Yeah, me too. Can't wait to dive in.
Awesome. So why don't we start with you telling a little bit about your story, what brought you to being where you are now?
Yeah, well, like you said, I think I've always been into beauty and aesthetics. And I think starting at a young age, it's just been something that's, I feel embedded in me. My grandma's played a big part in that as well. They kind of, with the holistic side of things, they, taught me how to garden and how to pick herbs and all of these things. And so kind of combining them to things that I was rooted in at an early age, I really wanted to find passion in that in a career. And I think, I started with yoga and I loved teaching yoga. It was amazing. I got my certification in Costa Rica, which then led me down a path of really finding my voice. I moved to San Francisco or Berkeley, the Bay Area, and really started to dive into taking care of myself in a more natural, holistic way. And then I enrolled in cosmetology school in San Francisco, and I went there at the Aveda Institute for a while. And then I transferred to the Institute in Grand Rapids, and I finished there. And then I moved to Colorado, and I got into aesthetics, and it's been just a wild ride because it has proven that I'm exactly where I need to be. And now I own my own business, and it's been amazing, just unreal. It's been so good.
I love it. And we'll definitely dive into the journey of owning your own business and creating it and all of that. So today, even though you've had all these awesome modalities and learned a bunch of different things, today you're really focused on skin, right? Tell us a little bit more what that journey was like, what you experienced at a young age, and what has brought you to, do the work you do now.
Like any other teen, I experienced acne, which then led into my young adult life, and it was pretty severe. I had pretty severe cystic acne for years, and I went to many dermatologists. I tried everything on the market. And I think at a young age, when I was experiencing just minor acne as a teen, hormonal acne, I would do a lot of masks, natural masks. And I really just got into these fun ways of healing naturally. And then it didn't, as I started to get older and the acne got a little worse, it didn't really work. And so I was trying to find some modality to help in any way, because I didn't want to go on Accutane and I really didn't want to get on any type of antibiotic. So I was living in Chicago at the time. I was about 21, and I realized there was a holistic esthetician. So I went to a holistic esthetician in Chicago, and she kind of taught me that everything that I learned as a young adult to like, not use moisturizer, not use oils, really dry out the skin to like kind of kill the acne was actually opposite of what you needed to do. And so I started to listen to her. I used honey as a cleanser and I used oil as a moisturizer, things that I was like so terrified for years of. And my skin changed. It was like automatic overnight. Like it took a month and I was like, oh my gosh, like my skin is actually healing. And so that in itself was so eye-opening to like all of these like benzoyl peroxide and heavy creams that you put on your skin that just ends up drying you out and, ruining your microbiome and your skin barrier. So then it kind of led me into the path of wanting to help other people experience healing with more of natural modalities, which has led me to this.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And I love how you were able to actually see results pretty quickly from like using natural products too. Cause sometimes that doesn't happen. I've had like a journey with different natural modalities for some of the gut things I'm going through. And sometimes it does take a really long time, right? So I love that you were able to see it pretty quickly and that therefore led you to want to have other people experience it.
Totally. And I think you're exactly right. I think that it's like not one size fits all. I think that there are many different ways that you need to go about healing skin. And that just happened to work for me. Being an esthetician and experiencing all different walks of life with skin, I've realized like it's not one size fits all. There's a million different things. And especially going into like the internal, like your gut health and what you put into your body is so much bigger of a picture what you see on your skin.
A lot of people, when they think about going to an esthetician or a holistic esthetician, like they might think getting a facial and avoiding wrinkles, or I don't know, like for the average person in terms of what they know about skin and what the work that you do, it's like, tell us more, because I know there's so much more to it. And I know you also do a ton with like the lymphatic system, right? And how does that all work? And how do you apply it to the actual services that you do?
Yeah, so just like we were talking about, I think that I found like a few different modalities in the holistic realm. So there's lymphatic drainage. Lymphatic drainage is so crucial in every single person's life because we have a lymphatic system in our body, but our lymphatic system actually doesn't move on its own from our décolleté up. So you actually have to manually move it in order to release the lymphatic fluid. So I found that really interesting. And I think when I started doing lymphatic drainage, I was like, wow, I really notice results, not even just with acne, but with overall skin texture and overall health of the skin, the integrity of the skin. And so I just dived a little bit deeper. I started doing gua-sha during the pandemic and I saw amazing results on myself. And so trailing it back into like my clients and even my husband was like, whoa, this is wild. Just with those like really fine lines. I loved that he loved it so much, which made me realize like, it's not just for women, it's for men too. Right. And my clients loved it. So it not only has benefits of like reducing fine lines, wrinkles, helping move the lymphatic fluid. But it also gives you like that little facelift too. So I feel like the integrity of the skin just all around looks amazing. And then I added a little bit of cupping in there as well, which pretty much does the same thing as gua-sha and lymphatic drainage and facial massage, except it's a little bit more intense because you're using a suction tool to suction the skin and the lymphatic. So yeah, I love them all together. I have a bunch of different facials that uses different modalities.
Cool. I love that you mentioned cupping because I recently, I was totally targeted on Instagram by an influencer that I follow, and she uses these little cupping tools, and I got them, and like, I don't even know if I'm using them right yet, but it's really cool. Like I could definitely feel, I don't know, just like more brightness almost.
Yeah, I think the little cups are really good. Do you have like the silicone ones?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So those are really good for like around your like eyes. So like crow's feet and then around your smile lines. I feel like for beginners to like not have any, like sometimes people can overuse them and you can cause a little bit of like redness almost that stays for a while. So when you use facial cupping, it's not like body cupping. When body cupping, you keep the cups on the body.
Right.
Facial cupping, you move the cups along the skin and you don't let it stay in one spot for a while.
Yeah, I love it. And so talk to us about, I mean, what your journey was to creating your business. I loved following your journey on Instagram all these years, and it's crazy the evolution. Like, it's been really amazing to see. How did you get started?
Oh my gosh, it has been crazy. During the pandemic, like I said, I think I was really focusing and spending a lot of time on skin, like just like diving more into like my knowledge of skincare and taking that time to really like hone in on my practice. So it was like July, it was like around July 4th, I ended up quitting my job. I think it was like 2020. And my husband was like, okay, well, this is the time to start your business that you've been talking about for years. And I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that. Like, that sounds like a lot of work, especially during a pandemic.
Of course.
Like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
And we had a little yoga studio in the house we lived in previously, and it was empty. It just had like a little bit of storage in there. And so he was like, we're going to go to IKEA and we're going to get all the things you need and we're going to start your little business. And I was like, okay. I was like, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, I'm just doing this to like have some fun and like see where it takes me. So I started a little Instagram and then I made a studio, like a skin studio in my backyard. And I just started posting things on Instagram, and then I would get like little follows here and there and friends of friends. And then I started to become like booked at my house. And as the pandemic started to like loosen up its rules a little bit, I think people started to be like, oh, well, I want to go get a facial or I want a lash lift. And I did have previous clients through being an esthetician the year before that loved getting lash lifts from me. So that kind of also just like started my business. And then facials just kind of trickled in. And then it moved with me from house to house. So I had it in my house for 2 years. And then I had my baby, and she was like 6 months at the time. And I was like, I can't keep doing this at my house. Like, I was very private with who I would have come in, and you had to know someone, you know, I mean, you're in my home. And so I wanted to grow and I wanted to see where I could go with this. So I opened up a little studio spot at a wellness center in Denver and started with 3 days a week. And then I realized quickly I started to book up. And then I think I was fully booked about 5 months in. And then about 9 months in, I had a wait list. And then a year in, I got a new room. So I have 7 days a week. And I was fully booked then. So I think I was working 3.5 days then. And then I just hired my first employee.
That's amazing. Congrats. Honestly, like when you think about it, it's just 3 years ago you quit your job. Like, that's nothing in terms of how fast everything turned around and how you made it happen. It's so cool to see.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so stoked. It feels like such a big manifestation. I genuinely feel like I manifested this, and also I feel like what's supposed to happen is going to happen. That's just the way I live life sometimes. So
I love that. And I think especially because you started a lot, as you said, with lash lifts, which the pandemic, everybody was like so interested in that, right? It's something that I think kind of blew up because you're like, I'm home all day. I'm not really going out, but like, I still want to look good on Zoom calls. So that's also so cool looking back how all those pieces came together.
I know. I always think about that, like the little like trajectory of like how this all played out. I'm like, wow, it's just been, I don't know, I feel very lucky.
Yeah, that's so cool. Awesome. And so one thing that I also love that I know you're so good at is setting boundaries in terms of being a mom and prioritizing that and your beautiful little girl and still growing your business. Can you talk to us about, what that looks like, how you did that from the beginning? Yeah.
I was really worried about that. After I had her, you know, it was postpartum, and I was like, I'm not leaving her. I genuinely do not know how I will leave this little child's side. Like, I'm so obsessed. And then I think as time evolved and I started to like kind of be like, oh, like, okay, maybe I can have my passion and be a mother. I like wrote a list of all of these things that like I really wanted to like keep going. Like I really wanted to make sure that I prioritize her first over everything. So the time with her was like number one. So if I could own my business and make, you know, an income and work 2 to 3 days a week, then I feel good. And so kind of this like, you know, getting this place at this wellness center, they were like, well, we only have something open for 3 days a week. And I was like, well, that's perfect because that's what I want to work. And so I started with that, and then I realized, oh, like this is okay. And at the time when I started my business, my husband wasn't working. So my husband was watching our daughter, which made me feel so much better. And just recently he just, you know, got into his career again, and we've had some hired help for 2 days, but it's only 2 days and I'm with her in the morning. So I just feel really good about the boundaries I've set with making sure that she's a priority and my family's a priority. And I think it's been hard to be like, I'm turning my phone off, or like, I'm not going to answer this phone call, or, you know, this person really wants to get in on Wednesdays, but I don't work on Wednesdays. I'm not going to open my books. Like things like that have been really difficult to keep up. But I think just prioritizing my family and myself, like it feels really good.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think especially because you're saying now you got a wait list, and obviously now you've hired somebody, which is awesome too, so that you can offer more days. But how do you handle that? Like, I don't know, if I know that so many people are wanting my services, and also it could mean like continuing to grow. And I feel like I would struggle with that so much.
Yeah. I mean, I do and I don't now. I think I've gotten to the point where I'm like, being a mother is just it's just my number one goal in life. I love being a mother and I love being a business owner too. But I have those days where I get stuff done. Also during her nap time, like she's napping right now, and she usually naps for like 2 to 3 hours during the day, which is a really good chunk of time to answer emails, answer text messages, do the things I need to do, you know, make content. But with the people, you know, who I can't fit in, that's kind of why I hired someone and was like, okay, well, if you really want to come to the studio, then please, like, I would love for you to be here. But I have this like one, and I have extra hands, and I have this wonderful person who's going to be here. And so knowing that Kara is so trustworthy and is so amazing at what she does makes me feel so good, you know? So I think like, yeah, like I said, boundaries and just making a priority for what you want to be a priority.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is hard. Totally.
It's so hard, especially when you're in the industry that we are in, which is like servicing, and it's us, right? Like actually giving the service and being there with the client. And so it's amazing that you found somebody who's trustworthy and that you're like, all right, like literally I cannot be in 2 places at once, but that's why I have somebody that can do it for me.
Totally. And don't get me wrong, there are days where I'm like, I need some yoga, I need some meditation, I need to like have 3 of me. But like, I really try to like hone in on the fact that like I'm feeling all of those thoughts, and like, that's okay. Like, let's put like piece by piece and work on each, you know, individual thing at once and breathe through it.
Yeah.
Being a business owner, there's a lot to it in all different areas, as you know.
I know a few, but I don't know a ton of business owners that are also moms yet. And so I loved hearing your perspective, and like, we eventually want a family one day. And so it's super inspiring to hear the way that, you know, you've been able to set boundaries and still continue to grow and like do amazing things and prioritize your beautiful little being.
Yes.
I love it. Awesome. So another thing that I have watched you over the years is that, yes, you focus on skin wellness, but you also focus on overall health. Talk to us about what are some of the things that you do to take care of yourself and your health, and how it's impacted or not your skin and the other aspects of your life.
I think that's another place where I set boundaries. I have to have my self-care. I knew like becoming a mother and then also having a business, I was like, will I have time to work out? And that might seem selfish to some people, but to me, that's my medicine. That's literally the way that I'm able to run all the things I'm able to run is my workouts. So I usually waver between like yoga and running for my workouts, and those are amazing. I really like doing saunas and steam rooms, especially for like my skin, but my overall like wellness. I like to do meditations in there, and I do a lot of like just like breathing and meditating throughout the day. Really focus on just nurturing foods, lots of tea, lots of water, lots of bone broth. And when I have the time, I like take some time with my herbs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do like sun tea, or I'll just like mix in certain herbs with my foods just to get extra nutrition. Mm-hmm. I love to be outside. I feel like that's a big part of my self-care. And I can do that with my daughter too. So some of my self-care I do with my daughter, like I'll take her on my runs, or I'll do yoga in the backyard and she's with me. So it's not all by myself, but granted, I need my self-care alone too.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And you're in such a beautiful setting right now, outside with the trees. I can see the wind rustling through. I love it.
Amazing. Yeah, we have a little oasis backyard.
That's beautiful. All right. And so for people that are maybe interested in like having a skin routine, I feel like especially with TikTok this year, it's insane. You see like the 13-step skin routine and all that crazy jazz. Talk to us about maybe some of your favorite brands and products, or like what would you recommend as somebody who's just starting out, wanting to have some kind of a skin routine?
Yeah. I think it's less is more. If you are starting out with skincare and you have no idea where to start out, I would say there's 3 to 4 things that I recommend. A good moisturizer, whether that be an oil or an actual heavy moisturizer, a good cleanser, a light exfoliation, and some type of like vitamin C serum. I think those are the like crucial starting out points. When you start diving into like other things that are more active, I think it's important to see an esthetician, a professional who's going to be able to help you with what actives would actually be beneficial for your skin. So I think starting out with those 4, like I said, I'm way more on the holistic side of things. So the products I'd recommend are like pretty plant-based, organic, natural. My favorites are Marie Veronique. She has an incredible line. She's based out of California, I believe. She's got a really good gentle retinol that I love. It's derived from vitamin A, so it's really natural, but also effective. Living Libations is one of my favorites. A lot of oil-based, essential oil, fragrant-based skincare. So really good for cleansers. I love their sea buckthorn cleanser. And they've got a couple other oils that I love. And then Eminence Organics is another one. They have really good actives that are more on the natural side of things. So I really love like their vitamin C. They have really good under eye cream and like heavy moisturizers. And then my last one is Osea. I'm sure you've seen them all over Instagram. They have amazing body oil, but not only body oil, it's they have really good skincare for definitely like Colorado dryness. Yeah, it's so dry. So I like load my clients up with oil, and they have amazing facial oils that I like swear by. And a lot of their products are made with seaweed, which is amazing.
That's so cool. That's so helpful. Thank you. And there's a ton in there that of brands I'll have to check out that I haven't heard of yet. I love what you said, less is more. I think this is where like my French culture really comes out, because for us, it's just so normal to do very little, right? And it's something that I remember coming here was like such a culture shock for me, even at such a young age, from like the things that you're supposed to do beauty wise. And so I feel like I'm seeing so much of a trend here of, going back to like more the basics, the organics, the natural. And I really love that.
Yeah, same. I love it. It's so hard as a consumer who doesn't know, skincare at all. I feel like I would be so overwhelmed. You're always targeted at like Ulta or Sephora or Instagram. And I feel like, where would you even begin? So I also think that's another reason why it's important to see a professional. And if you want to go more holistic, then find a holistic esthetician. If you want to go more medical, if you're working on other things like hyperpigmentation, extreme acne, find your medical esthetician. But definitely do that so you can get a better picture of what you need.
Yeah, for sure. And so we talked about obviously skincare, but what about makeup? Do you also consider or like use mostly natural products? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I only use natural products. I love the brand Ilia. I love them. I love their like tint on like the cheeks and the lip. They're all over. Coverage with SPF is so amazing. I use mineral-based products too by a brand. There's this small little brand in Denver called Alchemy Face Bar. They have mineral-based makeup, and I've used it for years, and I just love the powder. I don't love wearing a ton of makeup, so less is more in that aspect too. So that's like really all I use.
So let's talk about this year. What are you excited about? What's coming to, I mean, we're already halfway through the year, which I can't believe. But what is coming to Rooted Wellness throughout 2023?
Oh my gosh. I just had a tarot card birth chart reading a couple days
Ooh,
ago.
that's
It was
exciting.
so amazing. Yeah. I don't know if have you ever had one?
You know what? I've tried a lot of things, but for some reason, tarot reading is something I haven't yet. I feel like I just haven't been called to the right person. Like I've been in events and they're like, do we do tarot readings? Or at my bachelorette, we like randomly saw a tarot reading person. But I was just like, this isn't the right person yet. So I haven't, but I want to.
Okay. So there's this girl who I have been called to, like exactly what you were saying. Like I really haven't been called to much before, like something fun, like if I'm with my friends or like, but never like by myself seeking someone. And when I started working at Nurture, there was this girl and I'm like, I need to see you. It's been a year and I finally saw her and it was such an amazing reading. And like, I like to do those things like if I'm feeling like there's a pivotal change happening or if something significant has happened because it gives you like a good insight. Anyway, she told me that this is the year. She's like, you need to grow your business. Like your business, this is the year that you need to focus on your business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel this, but like I haven't really put anything into motion. And so I just sat down the other day and I wrote all the things that I want to do. I would love to host another retreat this year or the beginning of next year, which was so much fun. I'll probably hire someone else this year. I've got a couple other brands and some fun events happening. So we'll see. I'm just kind of going with it. I'm also trying to like not put too much on my plate and just like enjoy summer and see where it takes me.
I love that. Tell us a little bit. You held your first retreat not too long ago. How was that?
It was amazing. Like I was nervous for something you've never done before, right? Like stepping out of your comfort zone and teaching, which is something I'm also kind of timid about, but it went amazing. We had such an amazing group of girls. We did sound meditation and yoga and taught a manifestation workshop. And there was just so many little things throughout the weekend that was like, wow, this is so magical. The power of being with just women
Oh my gosh,
is
yes.
so fun.
Yes, I love it. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, we're getting to the rapid fire part of the podcast. So I've got a few questions and you can answer however you feel called to. So,
Okay.
as it's called, unlock your vitality. How do you unlock your vitality these days? Are there like habits or things that you've been exploring that just kind of feed your energy?
I think meditation, yoga. I like doing walks at night by myself. It kind of just like helps turn my brain off and like gives me a little bit more inspiration and a little bit more energy almost. I would say movement, honestly.
Awesome. What are you saying no to these days?
Well, I think it's the same thing with the boundaries. I'm saying no to things with my business that I've been called to or that I've been asked to do that don't align or that don't feel right, even though it may be beneficial for my business. If it doesn't align with me and it doesn't align with my life and my boundaries, I'm saying no.
Yes. I love that. We can all learn from that. What is on your nightstand?
I have a book, a beauty book by Living Libations, the owner of Living Libations, the skincare product I recommended, chapstick, water, and a red light therapy.
I haven't tried yet the red light, but it's on my list.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So I bought these little bulbs that are red light medical bulbs, and I just put them in my lamps, and it works amazing.
That's awesome. That's such a good idea. All right. If you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, so many things are coming to mind because I wish I could tell little Larissa all of the things. But I would say the number one thing is to love yourself and trust yourself. You've got it inside of you, and if other people don't see it, that's okay. You have it and you've got it.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Thank you so much, Larissa. This has been such a beautiful conversation. I'm sure people are going to relate so much. First of all, learn a ton about skin, but also, yeah, feel empowered and excited and inspired about seeing how you've created a business, set boundaries, having a beautiful relationship, being a mom. I know it's not all perfect. It never is, but it's really been amazing to see what you've been able to create and manifest in this life for the last years.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I am so happy to just see your face and to be able to speak about the things I love. So thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.